Marcus Carlson is here with us in the studio. And first up, Marcus, the IMF has offered to help Ukraine out with billions of dollars in aid, but there will be a price to pay.
Indeed. Hi there, Laura. Hi there, everyone. The International Monetary Fund has pledged to send Ukraine a lifeline of up to $18 billion. The money's meant to shore up the country's battered finances. But in return, the IMF is asking for measures that Ukrainian officials describe as painful. Prime Minister Arseniy Yatsenyuk has said there's basically no other option. Jennifer Lush takes a closer look.
He's dubbed his government suicidal because of the deeply unpopular measures it has to take. But Ukraine's new Prime Minister says securing an International Monetary Fund loan is absolutely essential to staving off bankruptcy.
If these laws are not accepted, we predict default, and we predict a 10% decrease in GDP.
The IMF has pledged a $14 to $18 billion bailout package for Ukraine. It's a boost for Kiev's government, which has been struggling to stabilise the economy after months of political turmoil. But the deal comes with strings attached. Ukraine must stop clinging to a currency peg that has seriously depleted central bank reserves and kept the hryvnia at an artificially high level. It must also tighten its belt, with a target of reducing the budget deficit by 2.5% of GDP by 2016. But what's likely to be the most painful condition for households is a cut to its energy subsidies, a move that'll see domestic gas prices rise by 50%. Ousted President Viktor Yanukovych refused to take this step, but economists insist there'll be help for the hardest hit.
The poorest will be supported by the government, and that will ease the effect of the IMF plan.
Ukraine's finance ministry says it needs $35 billion over the next 2 years to avoid default, and the IMF's pledge goes some way to achieving that figure. The EU and Japan have already promised further aid, the total amount of international assistance reaching around $27 billion.
And as Ukraine is trying to clean up its finances, Russia is dealing with the fallout of Western sanctions. President Putin says he wants to create a Russian payment system to rival Visa and MasterCard. It follows an American decision last week to sanction a bank that's used by some of Putin's closest allies. It led to Visa and MasterCard suspending services to customers of Bank Russia. Russian officials have criticized the reliance of Russian banks on Western card companies. Let's listen in now to President Putin.
It's a pity that some companies made a decision about some well-known restrictions. I think this will simply lead to the loss of certain market segments for them, a market which is very profitable. Well, it's not our decision. We have to protect our interests, and we'll do it.
Now, the world's biggest economy grew faster than previously forecast at the end of last year. Fresh figures show the U.S. economy expanded by 2.6% in the fourth quarter of 2013. That's in comparison to the same period of 2012. The fresh reading is higher than a previous forecast, and economists say it's painting a rosier picture of the American economy looking ahead. Now, we've also heard that the number of Americans who applied for jobless benefits last week dropped to 311,000. That's the lowest level since November. You would think that that is, that should boost American shares over on Wall Street. Still, though, we are seeing those indices over in New York trading below the flat line. The Dow Jones Industrial Average currently down 0.2%. In Europe at the close, shares, they were largely in negative territory as well, with only the DAX eking out some gains, up only marginally, though. Let's take a look at some of the stories shaping trading this Thursday. Banking shares have been under pressure in both the United States and Europe. It comes after the Federal Reserve barred Citigroup from raising dividend payments to shareholders and buy back its own shares. The Fed said the American bank may need the cash if there's a sharp economic downturn. Citi is the biggest out of 5 lenders that fell short of the requirements in the Fed's latest annual health check of American banks. Alstom also suffered on Thursday and its share price closed almost 5% down. It followed a Bloomberg report. The French engineering group could face one of the largest ever anti-corruption fines. The US Justice Department is currently investigating allegations of possible bribery in Asia by Alstom. The French company says it's cooperating with the probe. And shares in H&M dropped more than 3% as the Swedish clothes retailer came out with a profit warning. It says a drive to raise wages for textile workers in Asia could eat into future earnings. And due to stiff competition from rivals, H&M says it won't pass the higher costs on to customers. The chain's profits from the quarter that ended in February also fell short of expectations, coming in at around 300 million euros. OK, I'll be back again with more headlines from the business world in around about an hour's time.
Marcus, we look forward to it. Thank you very much.